What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Noble's TX YouTube channel. How have y'all been? I have missed y'all very much. I have been on a little bit of a hiatus with everything going on for the last few months. Work schedule has been pretty crazy, so I've not been able to get out as much content as I would like, but I do appreciate y'all for stopping in today to check out the PSA AK103. We're going to be looking at the Bulgarian SLR107FR, the Arsenal import, and we'll be taking a look at them side by side just to fulfill y'all's curiosity on possibly some quality differences or, just some little things that we'll notice. And yeah, let's dive into it. Now, at first, when I received the PSA AK103, the rear folding mechanism was extremely tight. I had to double thumb it to release the folding stock, and the Arsenal is actually pretty smooth. I went ahead and did this off camera just now, but the finish on this folding stock is actually pretty good. When it does lock into the folded position, you just simply press this button and it unfolds, and you snap it back in to lock the stock. Now, the Arsenal looks very similar. I thought that they were actually the exact same stock. The flashings looked pretty similar. The screws and the butt plates looked very similar. Both buttons stick out exactly the same. Both buttons are made out of the same material. Floor plates, trapdoors made out of the same material. They looked identical. But after closer inspection, there are a couple differences in the flashing, and they do not appear to be from the same mold. Now, take that with a grain of salt, because like I said, they are so similar that the only real difference that I could find was up here in the flashing. You see you have about a 1/2 inch and a T flashing right here, and I'll go ahead and lock that back into place, and we'll check out the Arsenal. Lock that back into place, and you can see that there is a slight T flashing up here, and it has this puzzle piece looking flashing right here. But that's really the only difference that I could find in terms of the stocks. Both look the same, both feel the same. I do wish that the PSA had the kind of Bulgarian looking release button and claw on the other side. You see this one is just a solid piece. This is actually a little claw that when you press the button, a claw will release the rear stock, and it's under spring tension to have that claw holding the rear stock closed. We can check out the other side of this Arsenal rifle, and you see how this hole here does go all the way through. And it's just a nicer looking touch, but that is no big deal. Now, upon looking at the rifles more, the PSA rivets actually do look very nice. I do not have any complaints. You can see the new PSA logo here. I included a little sticker down there. Looks pretty cool. All of the rivets on the rifle are very acceptable. You can see we have our enhanced safety lever here that came on this particular rifle. I would assume that all the PSA rifles are coming with the enhanced safety lever. As far as the 103, you can see our rear sight leaf with the Russian markings, pretty cool. Goes out to 800 meters. And our Bulgarian rifle, so we can check out the rivets. They all look like we would expect an AK to look. So I don't see anything crazy or out of the ordinary or anything that I would call unsatisfactory. Everything looks pretty good. Also an 800 meter sight leaf. And your standard safety lever. I'm checking out these rivets right now. Something to note is the desk cover on the SLR107FR is ribbed. I do not know the thickness of it, but we can see that our PSA AK103 is a smooth rear desk cover, which everyone was kind of an uproar at SHOT Show about when they saw ribbed desk covers on the rifles they had up on the wall. So moving forward, let me go ahead and move these back a hair. Furniture looks very similar. This one I had actually replaced with a Magpul, I guess gas tube cover. It's ugly, it's hideous. I ought to take that off, go find the original, throw it back on there, just because I like the way that the classic looks. This was spur of the moment. Oh yeah, that's a great idea, and it just doesn't look attractive to me anymore. Handguards are very similar. This one is not US marked. This one is US marked. Both of them fit on the rifles with a little bit of overhang on either side. I noticed that the Bulgarian rifle only has it overhanging on one side, on the right hand side, but that might just be because this Magpul gas tube cover. Matter of fact, now that I think about it, this Magpul gas tube cover does in fact actually have a slight overhang to it. You can see that we both have 90-degree gas blocks, and our front sight posts are extremely similar. The machining on the PSA AK does look excellent, and the Arsenal rifle, you can see that typical orange peel in the painted finish. Let me go ahead and pull these muzzle brakes off and see what they're looking like. Alright, so I've got our muzzle brakes off, and here we can see our PSA brake with our expansion chamber, a couple ports, and it is not chrome lined. Now we'll check out the Arsenal brake. Also not chrome lined. There are some differences in sorry, I got distracted. There's some differences in the expansion chamber area. Both seem to be the exact same size, should accept a bayonet, no problem. Now, something I noticed when I pulled these off was that the FN barrel, this is a FN chrome lined barrel on the PSA, it is not crowned. The barrel is just smooth, so I do not know if that will affect accuracy at all, but we can look here at the Arsenal rifle and see that it is crowned. Just something to take note of. Just for fun, I want to go ahead and weigh these, see what they weigh. The PSA up first at 3.2 ounces, 3.25 ounces, excuse me, or 92 grams. And the Arsenal brake, 3.56 ounces and 101 grams. So the PSA is a tad bit lighter. Where that weight is saved, I'm not sure. Something else to take note of is it was much easier for me to put the PSA brake back on. As you can see, I could get a little finger nail on there to depress our detent and screw our brake on, where with the Arsenal it was much more difficult. I had to use the tip of a bullet to hold that detent back while screwing this in. Both of them fit up very nicely with the front sight block. Now let's flip them over. We'll take another look at the other side, and then we'll disassemble the rifles. This side, again, looking very similar. I do like the finish on the PSA receiver more than I would say the painted finish on the Arsenal. So you can see I've already taken off some paint on the Arsenal. That was actually done on day one. I threw a steel mag in the Arsenal, day one, ripped all the paint off. This one here is not been fired, but I've been test fitting mags, and whatever finish they have on there, is it a nitride or whatnot, it's holding up pretty well. One thing I will note that you should know is sometimes AKs are a little picky on magazines, and this one is definitely picky. I tried some Romanian top loader drums, that's a no-go. I tried some different steel mags, that's a no-go. Magpul P-Mags fitness thing, extremely tight. I mean, so you can tell that was definitely what it was designed for. In my opinion, I am probably going to modify my magazine release paddle just a little bit, give me a little extra room, because where it's tight on this particular rifle is on the magazine paddle. Trim on your rifle at your own risk. Looking over the PSA, the only thing I noticed is we have one little blemish here. Nothing big at all. And on the other side, we have a little blemish on this lower hinge. Again, not no big deal at all. The rifle came in great shape, exterior wise. Compared to our Bulgarian, it also looks great. But everything on this side, we're basically a mirrored image of our SLR107FR. And if I'm not seeing anything, drop a comment, let me know what I'm missing as far as our exterior appearances. Oh, something else I just noticed is we have our full auto safety marks. Something just occurred to me that I'll also mention. When we flip the rifle over, you'll see that we have our X and Y stamp here, but we also have another Y stamp, and that would be for, let's call that the military spec receiver. And when we look at our Arsenal, you'll see that we have our X and Y stamp, but the Y stamp close to the front of the receiver is missing, and that is for the civilian market. That's just a thing. These are, civilian receivers, and that's how Arsenal Bulgaria decided to build these. Now for the part that I'm really interested in, we're going to disassemble the rifles, take a look at the carriers and bolts. Alright, here's a quick look of the inside of the receivers of our rifles, on the bottom being the PSA. You can tell by the marking here, the 4340 aircraft quality 7.62 front trunnion. That's just something to help identify the PSA rifle. I'm looking inside. It looks like our PSA rifle has a retaining plate for the trigger group and pins, and our Bulgarian rifle has a paper clip down here holding in the trigger pins. Pretty straightforward here. We'll move on to the bolt and carrier. We can take a look here and see our PSA guide rod. You can see that it is black. Seems very good quality. Our Bulgarian recoil spring does have this little hook on the rear, which actually makes taking the dust cover off a little more difficult, which I can see the pros with that. Here is our PSA bolt. Looks very nice. Free float firing pin. No complaints here. All the tooling does look pretty good. This is the bottom lug. Or I should say the what actually picks up your round. And here we'll check out our Bulgarian. You can see that the Bulgarian is actually a spring-loaded firing pin. Unlike the traditional AKM pattern rifles, a traditional rifle would have the free float firing pin. Looking at it, you can see this bolt is practically brand new. Looks great, and So does this one. I'm just trying to look for any kind of odd tooling marks or anything like that. Sorry. Bolts look great. Now let's check out the carriers. I'm going to start with the Bulgarian carrier. And we can see in here that the channel does have a little bit of tooling marks, but all in all, looks very good. We have what appears to be a chrome lined piston. And this is just an overall great looking bolt carrier. Now for our PSA bolt carrier, we have a steel piston. Does not appear to be chrome lined. Could be. Checking out our pin. And now when we look inside of our channel where our bolt rotates, you can see quite a bit of tooling in here. And in some spots, it's actually pretty deep. So how does that affect the actual bolt going back and forth? Doesn't. Feels real nice. Will that cause any premature wear? I am not sure. That's to be determined down the road. But all in all, this bolt carrier doesn't look too bad. Again, some tooling marks on this side. Here's our PSA smooth dust cover and our ribbed Arsenal dust cover. Now that's as far as I'm going to take the rifles down today. I'm not going to pull the hand guards or anything like that. I assume all that is same. So I'll go ahead and get these rifles thrown back together real quick. So in conclusion, what do I think? Well, overall the rifle looks great. For the current price on the market, it is a little up there, but so are the Arsenal imports. The SLR107FR is hard to be found now, and the SLR107Rs, you know, the fixed rear stock rifles, well, those can be found, but I don't know. I guess, you know, in my opinion, I like the added benefit of the folder, just for aesthetics and use. It's just a preference to me. As I'm talking, I look over to my wall right now and I see 1, 2, 3 folders up on the wall, and I love the folders. So I definitely think that the folder is worth the money. As far as the PSA rifle, it really does look to be good quality. I threw a Russian optic. Here, let me go ahead and do it. It's I shouldn't say Russian. I think it's from Belarus. Threw this optic on here earlier. Sorry, at a funny angle. And we have a slight bit of play. Let me see. Nope, locked up tight. So it must have been the Arsenal that I had a little bit of play on. So that lets you know that this traditional style optic that does get very low, this is just for fun. It does work pretty well. I believe it's a 1 MOA dot with 7 or 8 different settings. I found this on either eBay or Amazon. This is just a gun guy like me kind of optic. Not sure it would be your go-to optic, but it's definitely a fun optic to try out. This one is called the PK01VS. That took me a second, but you can see our red dot in here. Just a fun optic to play with. Very original to the style of rifle. Something else I'll mention is this optic takes a AA battery, single AA battery. You don't get the battery hours as you would in, say, your modern American optics. The life on that battery is very minimal, but fun nonetheless. Guys, I hope this video didn't drag on for you. It has been forever since I've made a YouTube video, and I just wanted to get out here and talk to y'all, just kind of go over the rifles. This was my first time to take them apart side by side, look at the internals, and see what we're really looking at, because the externals on both rifles look great. Everyone knows that the Arsenal Bulgarian, at least the folders, are superb. They're great to look at. They're more, to me, a collection piece. As many people will say, if you're going to buy an Arsenal, you know, get a milled, because that's really their specialty. They knock those out of the park. Their stamped rifles, a little bit more on the civilian side, again, with no Y stamp, which is just, you know, just something to keep in mind. But I do appreciate y'all for stopping by today. Which one would y'all pick? If I had to estimate, there's probably about a $500 difference between these two rifles. So, which one would you pick? Did you enjoy this video? Let me know down below. Again, with the situations that have been going on in the United States, today is August 3rd, August 2nd, somewhere in there. But anyways, I haven't been able to get out as much content as I would like, so I appreciate y'all stopping by. If y'all like what y'all saw, hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. I try to stay very active on there, and my Instagram handle's @NobleTX. And, you know, share some pictures of your AKs. That's what you'll see on mine. I'm always sharing some funny memes and some high quality AK goodness. So, guys, without further ado, y'all have a good one. And again, thank y'all for stopping by. Oh, one last thing for the people that are still sticking around. Picked up a new toy the other day. I've got the brand new imported ZPAP M92, or is it the Z92 now? Z92. So this one is the one with the bulged front trunnion and chrome lined barrel. So if y'all want to see this in a video, drop a comment, let me know. Y'all have a good one.